TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and this is the Friday edition of WWT Live. And I'm not sure if you're a betting person, but the odds are we're going to clash. I'll tell you what that means on the Friday edition of WWT Live. Let's go.
Yeah, now I'm going to go off. This is Shayna, the Queen of Spades, Baszler, and you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
The block is hot, family. I'm telling you, there's an awful lot getting ready to happen this weekend in the world of pro wrestling, and we're going to guide you through. My name is Gerard Bonner. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to WWT Live. It's part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. I know you've got a lot of names for me, potentially. Maybe you call me the Professor, GB, Teflon G, or whatever name you come up with today. If you watched the Thursday night roundup earlier today, I'll just call myself invisible because apparently TK doesn't want me around a lot. You got to go back and watch the show to get that reference. Trust me when I tell you we're learning all kinds of things about TK on these other shows like the NXT post show this week and the Thursday night roundup, which was earlier today. So if you missed it, trust me, go back and watch it. And there aren't very many moments where I am left speechless, but it happened today. It did. I promise you. Go back and watch it, but not right now because we are literally leading you into, my words are moving on, two big premium live events happening tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, we've got Against All Odds from TNA. We've got SmackDown tonight. We've got Clash at the Castle tomorrow. And guess what? I'm not by myself. Walking us through, and boy, she's going to be doing double time tonight because she's going to be heading up the SmackDown watch along. Of course, it is the one and only Wrestling with Honey. Honey, how are you?
Feeling good. I had to put my shades on because, things are getting a little fishy around here. Things are getting a little shady, so I just got to make sure I stay covered.
Trust me when I tell you, you're going to want to go back and see what TK had to say. And,
man.
Yeah, she might say I'm being shady, but I'm not. These were her words, not mine. So you'll go back and see it. I'm telling you, it's TK, man. I'm telling you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm good. I'm having a little bit of a lazy Friday day, which isn't bad, Got to relax every now and then, but I'm excited to get into it, talk some wrestling. Got the watch along tonight, got Clash at the Castle. Technically, SmackDown's already happening, so no spoilers, people. No spoilers in this chat.
And I want to reiterate that no spoilers for SmackDown in the chat, simply because we've got a whole watch along that's getting ready to happen after this with Honey. So let's not ruin that. Let's all enjoy this together. Now, I'm told, and we'll find out if this is true or not, I'm told an elected official is hanging out with us today. And I haven't seen him, but I hear he's here. The councilman is in the building. Councilman Will Foe.
Tonight, tomorrow, we fight for the land. We fight for Drew McIntyre tomorrow. Set yourselves and be free.
Stop it.
I'm on a horse, by the way.
Stop it. Stop it.
I watched Braveheart last night.
You are not doing Braveheart. Not the
wow.
face paint. You know what?
This is why I love this show.
Hey, they got
This
face paint. This
is great. This is why you guys have to tune in Friday, because I promise you, any given Friday, anything can happen. And that was great, Councilman. Wow.
I love being here. I love it here.
Great.
Just saying. I love it
Dylan said, is that Councilman Smurf? That's
I like
hilarious.
that.
That's hilarious.
That's funny too.
Eric,
Everybody think
good to
I'm
see you.
short until they meet me in person. Everyone thinks I'm like a short person. I'm
Okay,
6'3".
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, most people don't think that until they see me.
You tall.
Yeah. Okay. I'm for it.
Yes.
I'm here for it. You doing all right?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. I couldn't wait till 3:00. I was like, yo, this is where we get to release, relax, and have fun. So
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
And
Amen.
great
fun,
to see y'all too.
it's great to see you. It is great to see
Oh.
you. And so, in light of course, Clash at the Castle kicking off this weekend, in one of the main events, which we will get to, is of course Drew McIntyre battling for the World Heavyweight Championship. And congratulations are in order to him because he will be going into that match as a Hall of Famer. Yes, indeed. Drew McIntyre has been inducted into the Scottish Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. This happened just yesterday, and this was such a huge situation for this. He was inducted by Glasgow's Lord Provost, Jacqueline McLaren, which is a really, really big deal. Now, he is the 10th inductee into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame for Scotland, and he becomes the first active wrestler to receive this honor. So what's a little bit different about this Hall of Fame is, we're accustomed to the Hall of Fame in the States where there are multiple inductees every year. No, there's one per year here with this one. So he is the only inductee this year. Ceremony took place in Glasgow at the Edmiston House. In attendance was Tom Stoltman, Ranger soccer legend Lee McCullough, and Mark Hadley, and then WWE superstar Piper Niven was there as well. Once again, this is awesome. He is the first active wrestler to be honored, and some of the inductees in the past include names like Wild Ian Campbell, George Kidd, Frank Cullen, and then last year's inductee, her name was Rusty Blair. She was the first female honoree. So this is a really huge deal for Drew McIntyre. Let's talk about what this means ahead of Clash at the Castle, that Drew McIntyre gets inducted as an active wrestler into this Scottish Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Honey, we'll start with you.
First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior. He's literally all 2024. He's been in his bag, and he has been getting and securing that bag as well. And honestly, to be inducted into any Hall of Fame is a huge honor, but to be inducted from where you're from and from home, that's got to be very near and dear to his heart, because we all know how Drew McIntyre feels about, where he's from and how much he's represented Scotland in the biggest of ways. Drew could be what this could potentially mean for Clash at the Castle is that Drew could be on such a high. He's home, the hometown hero. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's on the cusp of possibly getting this title back, that, a title that he lost in seconds or a minute, at one of the grandest stages. And, after getting completely embarrassed by not only Damian Priest, but CM Punk, with CM Punk's help as well. I don't know. So usually sometimes when there are so many good things that are happening, always something tricky and shady and slippery happens. And I can't help but wonder where our Chicago hometown hero is hanging around these parts. I somehow sense that Drew's going to be on such a high for Clash at the Castle that it could lead to something pretty disastrous and detrimental to his potential title acquirement.
Now, before I come to you, Councilman, I want to throw an interesting fact, and I'm doing my best to hold our predictions for these two big shows until the end of the show. We'll see how well that goes. But relative to CM Punk, now we can come up with a lot of ideas here, right? He's obviously not scheduled to be on this card, but of course, he could be there just to ruin Drew's life. Or could he have stayed in his hometown of Chicago, where there is another PLE happening tonight? That, of course, is against all odds. And one of Punk's best friends is going to be there, that being a Steel, who is now in the corner of Joe Hendry. So it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that Punk would be in Scotland, considering there's potentially other business for him in Chicago. We'll come back to Punk in a little bit. But Councilman, what are your thoughts on Drew McIntyre being inducted into this Hall of Fame? And could this indeed bode well for him this weekend?
Well, he needs to win something this weekend, so at least he got this. So,
all right.
Yeah.
The shades are back on. The shades are back on. It's bright. It's bright in here. It's bright. The sun's not even out, and it's bright over here.
Wow. I mean, hey, gotta win something. I mean, it's just as you said. It's not that Drew isn't capable of doing it. It's nothing like that. But there's so many factors going in that I will say, though, I'm sitting at I don't know how this will turn out, because now it doesn't seem unrealistic for Damian to drop this title.
Yeah.
At first, it was just like, no, there's no way they're going to let him just be champion for 2 months, but it's just kind of like, or maybe. And then maybe instead of we getting Drew versus Gunther, we get a triple threat match at SummerSlam, or even possibly a fatal 4-way at SummerSlam with, the Chicago Saint himself. There's a whole lot of different opportunities. So I'm really going to throw my hands up because, as you said, he could be at TNA. I have no idea how this is going to end, but I do know Drew is going to shine tomorrow.
Yes.
Drew is definitely going to shine bright tomorrow. They're going to give us one heck of a match, but we'll like you said, we'll save that for the predictions. But I'm incredibly happy for him, man. He completely deserves it. As Honey said, how he represents for Scotland just from his journey of he's a great inspiration to have put there for someone who went in, was given such a high, messed all that up, got dropped to the bottom, to climb back up, and now to be, even as I'll consider it, one of the faces of WWE.
Absolutely.
It's just I just all great vibes and just all congratulations to him. He so deserves, and I just love seeing when Drew wins.
Yeah, there are a lot of comments over here in these streets, and so let's get to some of them. Dylan says, "I'm doing a Councilman Pharaoh in the Braveheart speech as we speak." This is great. Boza says, "I thought all hell would break loose because Drew hasn't gotten a proper reign as WWE or World Heavyweight Champion in front of fans. Then he gets his honor today. All bets are off." Does the fact that King Gunther get a shot at SummerSlam impact these plans? I could see a triple threat at SummerSlam. The possibilities right now are endless for what could happen at SummerSlam. Jeffrey, good to see you, says, "I don't see Damian retaining clean." Boza says, "This better start the show. If this is the last thing we leave, oh my God, I am afraid that fans will trash the ring." Well, so here's the thing. The last big show that they had over there in that area, when they did Clash at the Castle a couple of years ago, Drew was in the main event, and that was the final match that night. I don't see this starting the show. There's no way this starts the show. This ends the show easily.
No, I think they said it's the main event at their last at NXT. I think they said that this is the main event.
Okay, and that wouldn't surprise me.
So this would be. So you guys think this is going to be the main event, and then Cody and AJ's before that? They're not the main event.
Yeah, I'm sure Cody and because this is Scotland. I mean, all the promo has seen Drew doing promo. It hasn't seen anybody else. So I definitely think this is going to be the main event. How it ends, I'm not sure. And I know a lot of us are thinking, we're thinking ahead, but it's kind of hard to, because you're in your home country. You are clearly the fan favorite. Those people are jacked, like they are ready to go. So this could be interesting. It could be very, very, very interesting. So we'll see what happens. Again, we don't have long to wait. The pay-per-view is tomorrow, and we will get to our predictions for this PLE before the end of the show. So we'll save all of those predictions until then. But congratulations again, a huge honor for Drew McIntyre, who seems to be nowhere near retirement, being inducted into the Scottish Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
You know what I realized really quick? I'm sorry, Professor. You know what I realized? We really dropped the ball on getting a potential King Drew McIntyre this year, which would have been pretty sickening going into Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, it could have. Well, he was injured. That's what happened.
Oh, that's right. He was injured. That's right.
He was in it. He was
in it. He was in it. But
He
Darn
got
it.
injured. So
Right.
yeah, so there perhaps were plans for him to be king. Who knows? But from there, while he may not be king, he now can be champion, and that, of course, is Andrade, who earlier today defeated Ricochet for the WWE Speed Championship. So congratulations to Andrade. As many people are continuing to ask what happens with Ricochet. Of course, we last saw him driving off in the ambulance. He's here for this match, but of course he was defeated. And again, it wasn't a long match because the title matches are 5 minutes in length. That's max. But avoiding the Ricochet question, which a lot of conjecture is out there about what's next with Ricochet, what do you think is next for Andrade and the WWE Speed Division? Councilman, we'll start with you.
You know what? Let me be fair. I haven't jumped into, so let me be biased. Not biased. Right now, y'all are still sitting in 205 live right now. Like that's still the ballpark that Speed is sitting in. I don't know what the end goal is with Speed. Like, where do you? So it's like it's on X, it's here. So what comes of this next? Like, what is the overall big picture in this? Or is this just another version of 205 Live and Main Event? Because if so, then it's kind of messed up that Andrade's just returning and y'all have put him on the non-major platform. But if you have a direction to go in it, then, you know, I can see it. But like right now, I just don't see a direction for it at this time.
Honey, your thoughts on Andrade as the new champion of the Speed Division?
As much as I love this for Andrade, as much as I love this, you know, Latinos representation, obviously, for any kind of gold, I somehow am, I don't know what is not clicking with me. So I would have to semi-agree with Councilman. I'm not sure if it's not really clicking with me. It kind of did at first when, you know, when they had the whole tournament going and Ricochet. And of course, this was before we even saw Ricochet not re-sign. But now that we're here, it's kind of like, you know, like I'm just shrugging my shoulders a little bit. I'm not sure what, like Councilman said, what the end game or the end goal is for the Speed Championship, but I would hope that it would be something that could be important for you know, if they're doing it, if they're going to still do the same collaboration with the tournament being presented on X and everything like that. Like I would think that it would hold some kind of importance for social media and you know, gaining followers and viewership on social media for WWE, but not quite sure how well or how Andrade connects with that kind of crowd or I mean, I know he's very active on social media, but I'm just saying, like, as the Speed champion with everything, like, who's he gonna defend it against? Who is there anybody who actually wants this title? You know, like, I feel like this title doesn't have a story behind it. It was just presented and it's just there, unfortunately. Kind of like how, I mean, not unfortunately, it wasn't the same way with 205 Live because 205 Live was lit, and they had the Cruiserweight Championship and that was, you know, held to a certain prestige. But the Speed Championship, shoulder shrug a little bit.
So I'll say this much. You know, in terms of comparisons to 205 Live, I think it's apples and oranges. I think the 205 Live situation, there were a couple of problems with that. One of the problems being it was taped right after an episode of episodes of SmackDown.
Right.
And so, you know, you can't have Brock Lesnar, John Cena in one swoop, and then right after that, Arya Daivari. No knock to Arya Daivari, but I mean, you see,
Sure, yeah.
You know, so there's that. The second thing for me that I always said about 205 Live, which they did too late, was 205 Live because the Cruiserweight Classic took place in Orlando. 205 Live should have taken place in Orlando because that was for that NXT crowd. They waited too late to do that. Now with Speed is a different animal because this is kind of that exclusive partnership WWE has with X. And it's just interesting to see what they're going to do to beef this up. I partially wonder if we don't really have much to go off of because the champion was on his way out, and I don't know if they were aware of that once they put that title on him. So there hasn't been a chance to really tell the kind of story that potentially could be told. With Andrade being there a little bit longer, I'm interested to see what they do with this and how they build all things speed. So I think the jury's still out, but congratulations for him. He's a champion, and being a champion in WWE, that means a lot. And then, of course, speed, the concept of the matches are different. A 3-minute time limit hits so differently, and you need a different skill set. I love the concept. I just am interested in seeing how it gets promoted, and maybe there could be more promotion of it on other on their TV spaces or even on other social spaces. I don't know, but we'll see. Either way, congratulations to Andrade. Moving on, things are really interesting in the world of WWE, as we now know that the top merch sellers this month on WWE Shop at number 5, it's the Raw logo shirt, which I think is interesting. Matter of fact, this whole top 5 is interesting in terms of what they're buying on WWE Shop. Number 4 is Eddie Guerrero's Latino Heat, which I argue could potentially be happening because of the recent episode of Biography that aired on A&E. Bray Wyatt's Let Me In is number 3, which I like that. Perhaps all of the Uncle Howdy QR codes and general, love for Bray is doing that. Number 2 is Liv Morgan and this Revenge Tour. And the number 1 top selling shirt on WWE Shop is Jey Uso's Yeet.
Yeet!
Yeet. Let me get a yeet in the chat. Yeet.
Now, I'm going to ask an interesting question, because a couple of months ago, the top sellers looked much different. Though Jey Uso was still in top 5. Like, we were seeing CM Punk, we were seeing LA Knight, and we were seeing the current WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, LA Knight, none of them are in this top 5 right now. No Judgment Day, no Damian Priest. None of your the only champion in this top 5 right now is Liv Morgan. Does that mean anything at all? Or is this just kind of a snapshot of what's hot today, and what might be hot tomorrow could be different? What does this mean, guys?
I think that blends into both of them, though. The fact of right now, that's your focus, and you show that it's working. Like, merch is a big thing. So it's like, if you have people buying your merch, and I think the way you even broke down why the sales are like that makes even more sense. That lets us know Liv's Revenge Tour storyline is working, and it's working well. And just seeing what she's been doing. And it's only just begun. And to show that she's selling merch, people are getting behind it. That means they're doing something right with this. Same thing with Jey Uso. Jey Uso has been a fan favorite since he's gone singles, and it's just not stopping. And so even with him not even being on TV as much, you can still see people are behind him. And I know we got another topic to talk about it when it comes with Jey Uso, so I won't lay too much light on it. But it's really just one of those things of you never know where the fans are going. And if I'm just being honest, the 3 people you named, they shirt's okay. LA Knight shirt is okay. Cody Rhodes needs some new merch. CM Punk, I'm not gonna spend the next 5 minutes ranting on him. We you already know. Yeah. I can't have 19 other shirts and just keep having this on here.
So you raise an interesting point, and honey, I want to ask you this question. Are the sales that we are seeing a bigger reflection of people's connection with these characters or with these designs? Because I was going to say, because Cody Rhodes still gets a massive pop wherever he goes. LA Knight gets a massive pop. CM Punk gets a massive pop. So it's not that they aren't popular, but is it a question of poor design, or this is just where people are attaching themselves to?
I think it's a little bit of both, because you also have to factor in, even though we are well out of the PG era, we still have families and children that come to these shows. And I think it's also a lot of the kids that when they see their favorite superstar, that's the shirt that they want, no matter what it looks like. So on top of that, along with the cool designs and the cool sayings, and like how they twist things up with like fun, clever phrases, I think it's a mix of both. What it's saying about Jay and Liv, honestly, is basically, for some it might not mean anything, but for us, who do shows like this and talk about the logistics and the importance of selling merch and how that's important for your stock as a superstar, it's basically saying y'all slept on us. Y'all slept on us, because earlier this year it was turning into anti-live this and anti-live that. 10 years ago, nobody was doing this when Jey Uso was trying to do it. There's a video of him as like when they had like the face paint Usos.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get the crowd to do it with him, and nobody was doing nothing. Now he has every single stadium doing it. Y'all slept on them, and y'all shouldn't have slept on them. The Yeet Master is always going to come out on top, and Liv Morgan, what can I say? She's coming for everything. So I think this is really raises a really interesting situation for the superstars. I wonder who gets the royalties for the Raw shirts.
Right.
That's a great
And why
question.
is Raw the top 5?
Right.
Top 5, right.
I don't understand that.
I would expect Bray Wyatt to still be up there, obviously. I would expect the Yeet shirts to be there. I still have to get mine. I meant to get mine and I haven't gotten it yet. I need my Yeet shirt badly. But yeah, I think it's just really cool, and it just shows you what's really hot right now. And these two are really, really hot right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. For one, Jey Uso on top. I think many would say Liv lately has been on top. Dom might say that, but that's another story for another day.
Mommy's always on top, but not lately.
Well, I'll tell you who else is on top and who likes a lot of great merch. And he's so popular that the mayor has been reposted multiple times now by his constituents and by his representatives. So we load up the theme music. The mayor is here, and I got to start by asking you this here, Mayor. What does it feel like? People might have wondered whether or not you really were the mayor of Vice City, but to have been reposted multiple times by Lola Vice herself, what does that feel like?
It feels great being acknowledged by your queen. I'll just start by saying that's a great feeling. But to the people who thought that this was a game, I told you so. I told you so. Like, it's not a game, man. If the real TK was here, she would let you know I've been responsible for multiple things. In fact, during her return, she thanked me for not burning down this platform like I did once before. So, I mean, if you've been paying attention, there are things that follow the mayor, good and bad. But ultimately, they are things.
They are. By the way, said, do yourself a favor and check out the pre-show earlier today from Ring of Honor and TNA, and then check out the pre-show on Wednesday from NXT. You will have plenty of fodder about TK. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
okay. My brother. Brother. Oh boy.
Wait, you said pre-show.
No, I'm at the post show. I'm sorry. I'm confused. The post show for Ring of Honor and TNA. It's a Thursday night rundown. It happened earlier today. Yeah, and
Professor's trying to fight those.
I'm gonna fight all these urges, my brother.
He's trying to spill tea without spilling tea.
No, I'm gonna say this. It's one of the rare times on camera I've ever been left speechless.
Okay.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I gotta see
it.
Besides Pound Town, I'm sure this got to be one for the books.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything fast enough, and I was just stuck. So, yeah, but be that as it may, I'll tell you who's not stuck. As we mentioned, he's number one right now for merch movement on WWE Shop, and that is Jey Uso, who it is believed right now is the potential front runner to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match next month. So I've got to ask, and said we'll start with you. Do you see him as the front runner, or is a story like this concerning in terms of whether or not they'll actually pull the trigger on this one?
This is actually very intriguing. When I saw this, I thought like it made sense. If we had to pick out what the 6 or 7 that would be in the Money in the Bank this year, Jay would certainly be one of them. And it's only confirmation that he's a top merch mover. Not so much that there are people on both sides of the fence. There are people that don't like the Yeet stuff. There are people that love it. But at the end of the day, it's because they're creative designs. Like fans have long grown tired of just generic black t-shirts. And he has multiple colorways. That pays a difference. When you see a sea of white and blue and other different colors, he has hoodies, he has glasses, he has slippers, he has a bunch of things because they're not just generic black. But as far as him, this could be the coronation of him actually becoming main event Jey Uso. And it's been a story that's been told since the pandemic. So I think usually this time of year, we can kind of cherry pick who we think should win and who we want to win. And I can't say for me it's Jey 100% because I don't know how that story is told now that Roman's no longer champion, unless we do this roundabout thing where he cashes in on Cody, the bloodline gets stronger. I don't know. But there's usually certain people that stand out that you can think of holding that contract, and like Priest, like Big E before. Jey is definitely one of those superstars where you say, like, yeah, make it happen.
Councilman, Jey Uso for Mr. Money in the Bank, or is there another?
As long as it's not Sami Zayn. As long as it's just not him. Just everybody else keeps saying he gonna get it. As long as it's not him. No. I don't want Sammy at all. But no,
Sammy.
The shade. It's bright in here. It's bright.
It's like wanting a rash under your armpit. Like eventually it happens if you use the wrong deodorant, and you gotta kind of live with it now.
Whoa.
Just right now. It's just like I need to change deodorants.
I am appalled.
It's here right now.
Whoa. Damn! No love for the honorary Oos?
Nah.
Wow. But to answer your question, yes, I think right now, like even as said, I think he is the one who needs it the most right now. Until we know who the other 5 are that's in it right now, with us, with him being in the match itself, he needs it the most. Because as you just said, Professor, if he's going to be main event, his first title reign now obviously can't be the Intercontinental Championship. And if for some reason Gunther becomes world champion, it's like, okay, you need something that's going to carry you to be able to go straight shot into the main event. And I think he'll go for the world heavyweight title way before they give him the WWE title. I see him doing that first and then really stamping his brand onto Monday Night Raw as being one of the flagship staples in Raw. Because like right now, Drew is carrying it. Drew, as far as the males go, Drew is the one that's carrying Raw right now. Gunther is right behind, and then, which is crazy that our champion is not the one carrying it. Then I would say maybe a Damian Priest. And again, Jay just hasn't really been on television right now. So I can see him getting Money in the Bank, cashing in, and the yeets that will happen with that world title around him. I can't wait.
So, honey, I want to address this comment from Special Little Nobodies who suggests, what if Braun Breaker wins Money in the Bank? Who else could you potentially see besides Jey Uso as Mr. Money in the Bank? Could it be a Braun Breaker?
It's possible for it to be a Braun Breaker, but would Braun Breaker be my pick? Absolutely not. See, now this is where it gets tricky because I was assuming that LA Knight would still be in this picture, but now they've pivoted LA Knight to move to Logan Paul. because LA Knight at first was the hot pick when Money in the Bank was first announced.
Mhm.
I think rightfully so, it should go to Jey Uso, but I mean, I would have to talk about my prediction for tomorrow, and it might give it away. So I don't want to get into too much depth. But do I think it's a possibility that Braun Breaker can get there? Absolutely. He's obviously got a vendetta, and he's giving Adam Pearce lots of hell lately for
Mhm.
him not being included in the King of the Ring. So I'm sure in order for Adam Pearce to not have those same repercussions again, he would do right by Braun Breaker this time to put him in the match, at least so he doesn't cause any more chaos than he already has.
Yeah, one would think, and I definitely think it could be a really challenging time for the general manager if Braun Breaker even wins it. That would be
Mhm.
like nuts.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah.
absolutely nuts. So we'll see what happens. We've got to
Call
get
it
through,
breaking bank.
obviously. Yeah, we've got to get through Clash at the Castle before we get to Money in the Bank. And someone mentioned the Tribal Chief. Well, the Tribal Chief is out here doing tribal things, as you can see in this picture. He's back there along with Bad Bunny, two of the biggest stars in the world. And while you don't see the Tribal Chief on your television, he is still out here, saving lives and doing wonderful things for people. And he surprised this adorable young person with VIP tickets, meet and greet opportunities, all of the things. And it's wonderful when people want to see the Tribal Chief. So we don't get to see him very much on TV these days, but he is still out there really making an impact on the people. And we love to see that. Now,
Acknowledge
all of
him.
this talk of the Tribal Chief, Yeet, Money in the Bank. So we got to talk about WrestleMania.
It's such a great picture.
WrestleMania. And where does the final boss fall in all of this? Well, he was asked by ESPN what to expect. This is what he said. He says, quote, "We're on the 1-yard line to create the biggest WrestleMania of all time and the biggest match of all time at WrestleMania 41. I'll just leave it at that." So let's see if we can pontificate what this means, because being at the 1-yard line could mean one of two things. It could mean the goal line is right ahead of you, or it could mean you've got 99 yards the other way to go to get to the end zone. With that said, what would be the biggest match of all time for The Rock to be involved with at WrestleMania? That's the question. Honey, you look ready to answer this one.
I don't understand why this is still even a conversation. I think we all know what the biggest match would be. We've been wanting it, we've been craving it, we've been asking for it for a few years. At least I know I have. But you know where the final boss is going to fall. He doesn't do anything other than main events. Okay? That's number 1. As well as you have the Tribal Chief. And this is happening in Vegas, which is also the home of the slap heard around the world between The Rock and Cody Rhodes. And when they were trying to push this family tree on us and proclaim that this match would be the greatest match of all time. Guess what? It's going to be the Chief versus the final boss. Obviously, it's got to be. I know a lot of people that have been wanting this match. I have been wanting to see The Rock versus Roman since Roman even came up on the main roster, because it's just going to be something that's going to be absolutely spectacular. It's going to be electric. It's going to be insane. There's so much that we could unpack as far as the history that they had going in from this year into WrestleMania next year. There's so much that they could build up for it. It could definitely rival a lot of other family storylines that we've seen. As we know, the Bloodline story is probably the second greatest story ever told. I'll say the second, because I think we all know that the first was Taker and Kane. But in my opinion, I think The Rock versus the Tribal Chief is the only way. It's the obvious way, and I think it would be freaking awesome, whether people like it or not.
Said Is it this obvious? Is it The Rock in Roman, or is there something else? Because it feels like the night after Mania, The Rock
Right.
alluded to something else.
Right. And that's where I think people kind of take the bait, thinking that we're going to get this return of Roman Reigns as a babyface. And I'm thinking like, well, nah, what if he is really pulling the strings and all that, and he's still this mega heel this entire time? The cash cow of the company is now Cody Rhodes. There's no way you put this belt on Cody, and a year from now, if he's still holding it, he's not in the main event. That would defeat the purpose of everything you've built these past 2 years with the whole finish the story angle. I think we've shifted gears, and now the biggest match is Rock versus Cody, because Cody can beat somebody that is legend, that is from a different generation, who's been around his dad as well. I think it says a lot more. And then for Roman's story, who's to say that Roman doesn't capture another gold? And let's say we throw it back a second and Jay becomes Money in the Bank and he finally gets that win against Roman to finish that storyline. There's a lot of different ways that we can go here for Roman that do not involve Dwayne. But I think if it's Dwayne, it's going to be using that TKO label and all that to wield his power and say, hey, I'm coming for the main guy, because in his eyes, he's the guy. I think it would mean a lot for Cody to win clean against The Rock at WrestleMania in Vegas.
Now, I'm going to come to you, Councilman, in a second, but I found this was funny. Jeffrey says, I don't think Solo versus The Rock is what we want, alluding to Solo being the current tribal chief.
No. He a chief.
He knows damn well that I'm not talking about Solo. That's not my tribal chief.
It's not our tribal chief.
Hashtag not my tribal chief.
That's great. Councilman, what do we say? Are we looking at Rock versus Cody, Rock versus Roman, or potentially something else? And I do want to remind the people that at night 1 of WrestleMania 40, The Rock pinned Cody.
So y'all too focused on all of that. Here you gotta talk about the biggest match of all time in WrestleMania.
I'm listening. I can't wait to hear this.
Undertaker's gonna revive Bray Wyatt, and it's gonna be Undertaker versus Bray.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Bray been fooling us all.
In a perfect alternate universe, I'm sure
in a perfect multiverse.
Right.
I get the tearjerker. That almost deserves a womp, because it's kind of a tearjerker.
I don't know what to do with that one.
I just miss Bray so much.
I don't. Wow.
I just miss him so much. But these two things, it does look more like it will be Rock versus Cody. I don't see it happening at SummerSlam, as most people were hinting at, and because of how this build has been going. You know what? No, this is how I'll do this. We gonna get 2 nights again. I think we're going to get The Rock versus Cody. I think Rock will win, and then we get Roman versus Rock at night 2 for the title. And Roman takes it back, and as Cedric says, remains this heel and the true tribal chief.
I can guarantee you, if that's the match, Roman ain't leaving that night with that belt.
He's not.
That means whoever cashing in, they doing.
Oh, he still keep money until then.
And if Jay,
I feel like there's more suspense with keeping the Money in the Bank longer now. Like, I think Priest just showed us that it means more than, because I mean, at the end of the day, they've turned so many years. They've turned it into this lottery ticket, and it lost its allure. Especially when you know the women's Money in the Bank holder rarely holds it until Io Sky just held it for a while. So I think they know they have to tell that story because it helps build the character up. You can sell more custom briefcases. You can sell more Mr. and Miss Money in the Bank T-shirts. It just makes more sense to not treat it like this this casino grab. It's just quick cash ins, I think.
And if Jey Uso, to some of your guys's points, if Jey Uso is the holder of that Money in the Bank, he can cash in on his big cousin, or you can make it oosy juicy and he could cash in on his former tag team partner, Cody Rhodes. That's nasty.
I would be very surprised if Dwayne went out on his back for Jay. I'd be extremely surprised.
Before Roman?
You don't think he would do it? That's
before
fair.
Roman does though. That's before Roman.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad surprise. I'd just be very surprised if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, these main events don't matter because once my girl get the call up, we getting Charlotte versus Lola on night 2 in the main event.
Lord,
and
why you go invoke Charlotte to come back and get the title? Why would you do that?
That's Charlotte's retirement match. You don't gotta have no titles involved. That's just
wow.
What did you just say? That Lola? Are you saying that Lola's going to retire Charlotte Flair? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie though. I do want to see her twerk over Charlotte. Now that you done said that, her twerking at WrestleMania over Charlotte.
Man.
That's first ballot Hall of Fame entry right there for Lola.
Man,
here on WWT Live, we speak things into existence.
I don't know how I feel about
it's not the first time that something like that has happened. So we will see. We got a long road to Vegas next year, but should be very interesting for sure. Now, on the road to Vegas, we've got an election, and we usually don't talk politics around here, but this Hulk Hogan went on to, of all places, Fox News and said that he is volunteering a run for president.
Well, we know one thing first off, he definitely ain't gonna have a black vote. So he's gonna have to.
I mean, I guess you can volunteer for a lot of things these days. But I mean, I'm sorry I shared this in the chat, guys. This is my fault. That's on me. We didn't have to talk about this, but I mean, it's there. And the funny thing, Professor, is like you probably have. I started watching the Who Killed WCW just last night.
Yeah.
So through everything I'm reading through the tea leaves, it kind of sounds like it was Hulk Hogan's fault. Honestly.
Yes.
There's a very interesting excerpt that's out there from The Undertaker on The Undertaker's podcast, where he was talking about when he first won the WWE Championship. For those who don't remember, that happened at Survivor Series 1991. It was him and Hogan, and at the time, Taker was undefeated. So apparently, Hogan was nervous about dropping the strap and did not want to be tombstoned. But Taker said, I'm going to take good care of you. So the tombstone happens. I've watched this tombstone many a times, and I was personally bothered by the fact that Hogan's head never hit the ground at all. Taker took perfect care of him. So at the end of it, apparently, according to Taker, Hogan is just like, oh man, my neck's messed up. And Taker's like, well, no, you didn't hit the ground. And Hogan's like, well, you didn't give me any room to move. And Taker, in his own words, said, that night, I learned everything I needed to learn about Hulk Hogan. So then, I will reiterate to you guys, go back and check out Who Killed WCW. Episodes 1 and 2 are available right now. They are quite amazing. And when you hear what Taker just said, and you can find that on the socials from 1991, and then you pay attention to this theme throughout Who Killed WCW, it's the guy who wants to run for president. Moving right along, Bayley is excited about Clash at the Castle. And not only is she excited about that, she is excited about working for Triple H. She did a recent interview with Daily Mail. And here's one of the things she said. She said, Triple H and creative right now, she was asked the thoughts of Triple H and creative. And she said how lucky she feels to be a part of it. She says, just to be there while he's in this streak of changing the business and changing what our fans are used to seeing on TV, even the little subtle things on TV, the changes that are happening and the progression of characters and the amount of different characters that you get to see every week. I feel so grateful to be a part of it. In this interview, she also talked about the Forbidden Door and how she's very interested in working with people from other promotions. So I'm curious, in this new era, who would you like to see Bayley take on from a different promotion?
Ooh.
Britt Baker.
That could be interesting.
I'd like to see their banter too between each other before the matches.
That could also be interesting. Okay, Britt Baker. All right. Said, honey.
If I had to pick somebody like from any promotion, because she just basically left it open ended, right?
She did.
I would be remiss if I didn't include our timeless Tony Storm. I think her and Bayley would slap.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be.
And this Tony Storm in a promo with Bayley,
right? Eat it up.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Woo. Wow.
I think Bayley and Timeless Tony would hit it off really, really great.
Oh my!
I think they'd kill it.
That's a good choice, honey. That is
well said.
There's two that come to mind for me. One, I was immediately thinking before she did this Forbidden Door stuff is Stephanie Baker, just because I think that would be a very good contrast of styles. But also Willow. I would love to see Bayley and Willow Nightingale.
Oh yeah.
But I think that would be very unique to pull that off.
Ex-hugger versus current hugger.
What about her bestie? What about her bestie, the CEO?
Oh, you just gotta look at the WWE Network if you want to see the greatest women's match of all time.
Well,
it's already
true. On NXT.
Main roster too.
I'm surprised you didn't say Lola. I'm surprised Lola wasn't thrown out there.
Okay. I was like, no Lola.
So like, and you know what? I'll be honest. Eventually, we'll get there because now it feels like the highlighted women's title is Liv's, just because of all the drama surrounding that and the eventual return of Rhea. So Bayley is not really. She's going to elevate everybody that she encounters, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of major storylines around Bayley. Just looking at the SmackDown women's roster, like I hope that Triple H is kind of unique with his booking and does kind of take some names from TNA to put across from Bayley just to make this title reign a little bit more interesting.
True.
Yeah, we've got some potential there for sure. Dylan would like to see Kylan King against Bayley. I think that would be fun. Yeah. Tasha Steelz, that's what Eric says. That'd be another fun one for sure. Yeah. Boy, again, the promos with those two would be bananas.
If I'm being very honest, like after this Piper match tomorrow, we need to heat up Bayley versus Blair Davenport really fast.
Oh, I would love that.
Really fast.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting for sure.
Really
very
quick,
interesting.
Really quick, speaking of Clash at the Castle, Sportskeeda Wrestling, shout outs to Sportskeeda. They did put up that Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest will be the main event.
Okay. Yeah. I don't doubt that at all.
Oh, okay.
In Scotland? Yeah.
In Scotland.
What was in jeopardy of being the main event outside of that?
Cody versus AJ.
Cody and AJ.
But for me, Cody that was added so late.
Actually, that might open the show.
That could
be honest. That could open the show.
I really don't like I Quit matches. They're just, but okay.
They're not even I Quit no more. It's just like I remember when you quit, you had to quit. You didn't show up the next day.
It's either get up or don't get up.
Same thing with last man standing matches, like handcuffs or announce tables to crush the opponent. Like,
yo, you know what ended that for me was actually on NXT with Tommaso and Johnny Gargano when he rolled over and his feet touched and he still wasn't technically up. And they was like, out. I was like, don't do no more last man standing matches. Y'all are dumb for that. Y'all ain't right. That's petty.
That's hilarious. Well,
so we know that CM Punk is in Glasgow.
We did not know that.
Oh, I think the photo is already surfacing online of him being in Glasgow.
No,
hadn't seen that. So Well, thanks for destroying my theory. I appreciate it. So let's get
You guys don't
into
see that coming?
we had a couple of ideas, but let's get into this Clash at the Castle predictions here. First things first. Now I've heard people I think they were saying that about this card, that it doesn't seem super strong or what have you. I want to note two things. Number one, there are 5 matches on this card, and number two, all of them are title matches. I don't remember the last pay-per-view or premium live event, because not even your Clash of Champions or Night of Champions has been all champions.
Nope.
So this is going to be very special. That Clash at the Castle in Scotland, 5 title matches. So let's go through these, and we'll quickly give our predictions, as we will also get into the PLE that happens tonight. So then, let's start off with what many think could start the card. The I Quit match, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles. Who do you have winning this match and leaving as WWE champion? Honey, we'll start with you.
I mean, it obviously it's got to be Cody for me. I have to go with Cody on this one. AJ is AJ's on. I don't want to put nobody on that ticking clock, but he's putting himself there, allegedly. But yeah, man, like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying it for a while, there's no way that we went through all of this for the last couple of years to go through with all these Cody crybabies and for him to lose the title at just a PLE. You know what I'm saying? Like, not it's not to be funny or downplay AJ or Cody or anything like that, or this title run, but Cody.
Okay, Councilman.
Same. American Nightmare retains. I think AJ brings a new level out in him that he'll have to hit in order to make AJ say I quit. So I think this is going to show like your durability of what to do as a champion, because I don't think we've necessarily. This is pretty much like these are the first sets of like matches we've had Cody where he's 100%. Like majority of his matches, something's been wrong. Yeah. So this is the one where we do get to see you 100% fresh and get to see how creative you're going to need to get in order to make AJ say I quit. Plus AJ is 4-0 in I quit matches. So so you're going to have to bring it. And I think AJ is going to bring that out in Cody just to make him even look like a stronger champion. American Nightmare retains.
Definitely, I definitely also forgot to definitely see the OC including themselves in here somewhere. Possibly.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Said.
I'm taking Cody Rhodes to retain his title. No thrills, no gimmicks. I mean, I think they'll go. They'll have a trilogy as well. But yeah.
Okay.
Good that they're heating AJ Styles back up, but they got to do something different than a I quit match. So yeah.
I noticed they didn't go the Hell in the Cell route because we know what happened last time.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Next up, which is going to be the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Damian Priest, defends against Drew McIntyre. Who leaves as the world champion? Honey.
El Señor. I'm not. El Señor is undeniable. That's Damian Priest. He's in his bag. He's on his BS, and he's handling his own business, as he says he doesn't need anybody else to do. So let him handle it. And the only reason why I see that happening, especially, is because the X factor in here is Mr. CM Punk, Mr. Phil Brooks, who is floating around, as we know now, in Scotland, hanging around, and I feel like he is going to cost and embarrass the hell out of Drew in his home, in front of his family, and in front of all the people that he knows and loves in the country. So let's go El Campeón.
All right, Councilman.
Yeah. Now that we know Punk is out there, yeah, I don't know, yo. I really don't, because Man, losing your country twice in a row? Like, are they gonna really do that to Drew?
But you know, how would you book it if you don't know who to predict?
They mean, based on recent memory, they'll be back again.
I mean, that's true. That's true. And it's not like Drew can't still be hot around the time that comes. Yeah, man, I don't see them. I don't see them taking this away from Damian Priest, man. Especially after being in that Puerto Rico parade in New York, like they really been heavy on the promotion with him outside of WWE, outside the ring at least. So yeah, I do see though them potentially almost costing him the title with Judgment Day. I think Judgment Day might come mess some stuff up that looks like, Drew might be about to win, and then here comes CM Punk ass.
CM Punk ass.
Yeah, that's my name for him. Comes in and just interferes, and we got our setup for SummerSlam, which I don't never want nobody to be sent home. But Drew, if you can make those memes happen and send this punk ass Chicagoanian, whatever the fuck they call themselves, back home and get rid of him at SummerSlam, I don't know what to give you. I'll buy you a Little Caesars pizza or something. But Drew, if you hear this,
not for Little Caesars. He's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, you're right. Crazy Puffs with it too.
Oh my God.
Don't sleep on Crazy Puffs. All right.
No.
It's 4 bite-sized pizza. If you don't want a full pizza, you get Crazy Puffs. I'm getting both. All right, breadsticks too. Breadsticks too. He gotta get his own drink. I can't do it.
Gosh. Councilman, you play it too much.
Why would that man play games with me? Why would you play games with me?
Hasn't been playing games.
But Damian Priest is my choice. Damian retains.
All right. Said.
I don't think the ending of this match will leave anyone happy by the way it pans out. And here's where the Money in the Bank thing gets tricky, because at the end of the day, it is kind of a lottery ticket to kind of hot shot you to the top of the card. The problem with this is Drew going into the Scottish Hall of Fame, all the media they're doing around Drew, and this also being the 10-year anniversary of him being cut. There's so many things going for Drew, so it can give him his moment, and maybe Priest wins it back like on a weekly show. There's something to say about that, but like this is the opportunity to do like some real elite hater shit. Simple as that. And we know Judgment Day is barred from ringside. I like what Jeffrey is saying is like, what if Liv helps Damian? That's a good angle. I like that in the chat. But also, I think it's something simple as like, hey, Drew might have the win, and maybe CM Punk is hitting the ring bell to stop the match, and then he gets rolled up. It could be something as simple as that. I think Drew will still look strong however they do it, but I think we know we're headed towards Drew and Punk, and it doesn't need a title. So I'm actually leaning towards some type of non-finish more than anything, but Priest retains.
Can I ask you something though, Sid? Does it hurt Priest if he loses the title?
No, because I don't think there's a lot of other names at the top of the Raw card to where he can't stay there. I think he remain in that place now that he's elevated and held the briefcase for a year, whereas other guys in the past have kind of cashed in or false cashed in and they fell back down to where they were. I don't see that for Priest.
Okay.
So I'm going with Drew. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go with Drew. If you remember, Drew multiple times has talked about different people interfering and costing him. You know, when they did the last Clash at the Castle, we were introduced to Solo Sikoa. And, we had CM Punk show up at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure that somehow the Judgment Day will show up, even though they are barred from ringside, they will still show up. But I think Drew has an answer. And the answer for them are those Gallus boys.
Ooh.
Those Gallus boys.
Did we talk about that?
Those Gallus boys from NXT who are also from Scotland. Now's the time to introduce that and secure the bag.
But not a call-up.
Not miss this moment. It could be a call-up. That's how they called Solo up.
Yeah, but we know the Gallus is doing the thing with Wesley still.
But that's no. So that's Joe.
Yeah,
you still got Wolfgang and Mark, and they could be the tag team in that.
And Joe could do double duty for a little while until he fully makes the move. I think this. Let's also remember it was also one of these overseas pay-per-views. I think it was Clash at the Castle where we got the fullness of Imperium, where Giovanni Vinci just magically came up and stayed. So these are moments. And I think this is a moment. I think they're not going to miss this moment. And it goes to something that you even said earlier. Right now, and I love the cash in, and I love what's happening with with Damian. But Damian Priest is not the figurehead of Monday Night Raw. You could make the argument that Drew McIntyre is.
But here's my question to you, Professor. Then we have SummerSlam against King Gunther.
And we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna look at that. We right here.
Because I think the challenge that we have right now, and I've said this before, is there are a lot of guys looking for the top spot. A lot of guys. It reminds me a lot of 1998, 1999 in WWE, where you had one of the reasons you had the hot potato with the world title is because you had all these guys who could be the guy. You had an Austin, you had a Taker, you had a Shawn Michaels, you had a Triple H, you had a Mankind. You had all of them at the same time. We're in that same kind of era right now.
That's why I don't feel like Priest is hurt by losing.
And I think Priest loses to help further the line of Judgment Day falling apart. Which is also a part, I think, potentially of Liv and maybe even Finn's plan. So
do we even know if Gunther is still actually the king? Because I thought Triple H said they were going to run that back at some point.
Oh no,
he's done. No, he said the ref's call is final.
Yeah, he said it's final.
Yeah, it's final. So he's
Orton's out for a while.
He's not the king till he puts that crown on his head.
I thought he did put the.
He did this. He did
been
this.
carrying it.
And then Triple H alluded that Gunther might want to actually not have an asterisk next to it, and that he would probably rematch Randy if given.
Yeah, but Orton's out for a bit, so he said that's not going to happen for a while.
But he said he is officially king of the ring.
Yes, he is. He is. And so Jeffrey says Gallus puts him to sleep. Well, in this scenario, just keep watching.
And they changed that, and I say they changed that at Battleground.
Don't sleep.
Yeah, Battleground, they changed that. I'm interested in Gallus now.
Absolutely. All right, let's see if we can move. Oh, wow, time is moving. All right. So also another championship match. Bayley defends the world title against Piper Niven. Who do we say walks out of this one?
Had this storyline started a little sooner than how it just started, I could have seen Piper going out. I could have seen Piper winning this. But because it started so quick, I see Bayley still retaining, but letting Piper look good and really establishing herself as one of those main runners in the women division in SmackDown. But I only see somebody from Scotland got to win tomorrow, which is like, Drew. Yeah, you saying Drew now just because. Somebody got to. It can't be 3 losers in Scotland tomorrow. But I see
the hometown favorite doesn't always win.
No, they don't. Unless you're Sami Zayn or Bad Bunny.
But they all don't lose.
Yeah, all of them can't lose. And I don't see we'll get into that in a little bit because I know we said no predictions. But I see Bayley making Piper look good, but then coming out on top. And possibly losing it caused by Chelsea Green.
Quite the contrary, Councilman. I do somewhat agree with a little twist. Bayley retains via disqualification because Chelsea Green tried to help Piper, and instead it hinders Piper And then we split up these two, and Piper breaks out from the pack and becomes a single star. Because not for nothing, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven need their own shine, if you ask me.
And Chelsea, and I'm predicting it. Chelsea Green is Money in the Bank.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Said.
I could have sworn Chelsea said she was going to be spending some more time in NXT by her own words. What I'll say about this match is I think both women are going to shine. I think Bayley's going to make Piper look every bit of the star in her hometown. And I'll say she retains, but I'll say in a fashion where she escapes. She escapes the wrath of Piper Niven, meaning that she'll run it back again.
Yeah. I like that.
The Scots are out here. They're about to tear this PLE.
This audience finna be crazy.
Yes, they are.
It's like every single audience, especially the international audiences, or even like say since last year, like it just gets louder and louder and louder and crazier. Like, so the chants are gonna be nuts. Like, I just can't wait.
Yo, Cody's song, because you remember how they did Edge's song when he came out. When Cody's hits, it's over.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. Up next, the women's tag title, a triple threat tag team match, as our champions Jade and Bianca will take on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Shayna awake yet?
hey, bro.
You know what?
Now we be letting you.
I hope she didn't miss her flight. You know, she was looking kind of hazy on Sunday.
We're not talking about.
She's looking kind of glassy-eyed on Sunday. Hope she didn't miss that flight. That's a long flight.
We're not talking about.
She probably slept it off on the way there. You know, it's all right. Probably slept it off. Got some Tylenol.
Man, listen. See, I didn't want to say it.
But no, like with this match, I think it's funny because I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jade Cargill lost her bag. So that means Bianca about to be all up all night curating that gear. I don't know how she does it so fast, but she's going to have that gear ready. But they say that I want to say this should be the place where a title changes hands, but I know it's not. And I mean, with Alba and Isla, because they've been needing some type of shine for some time now to be reputable in the division since coming up as NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Haven't done much. Haven't heard from them since the titles actually got merged. But like, obviously, we're going to continue the superheroes. Bianca and Jade will retain in exceptional fashion. But hopefully this elevates both of these two formidable tag teams into the division.
I agree. The Mega Powers 2.0 is definitely going to retain. I can only imagine how somewhat difficult this is going to be for one of the tag contenders, which is Alba Fire, being that she just lost her mom recently. I saw.
Yes.
So I know this is going to be
very
a little
tragic.
This is probably going to be very, very tough for her. But shout outs to her for still, doing the damn thing, and I'm sure it's something that her mother would want to see. So the fact that she's still going and doing the show and fighting, I'm sure that she's going to dedicate this match to her mom, if that. But yeah, I as much they're gonna shine. Every single one of these the other tag teams are definitely gonna shine in this. Zoe and Shayna are probably gonna establish themselves as a legit tag team, like for real. I guess I've been talking about Shayna Baszler being in these tag teams that go nowhere, and I don't know how to feel about it anymore. But I digress. Mega Powers 2.0 is keeping it.
Yeah, I'm with Jeffrey. The 12-pack crew retains. I love that.
That's a good one.
That's great.
But yeah, I think Elba and Isla shine very well. And I don't think they're going to take the pin. I think they're going to pin Zoe Stark, and I think that's going to do the opposite to what Honey is saying. I think that's going to make Shayna and Zoe part ways, because Zoe has been the one that has been losing mostly, and I think she's the one that's going to get pinned tonight, because I don't think they'll do it to Elba, especially. I don't think they'll do it with her being from in Scotland too. So I don't think they're going to let her take the pin. I think Zoe takes the pin, causes a breakup, but 12-pack crew does still stay strong and remains, but it brings more credibility to these tag team titles after this match. I will say that.
Oh, I think Shayna's gonna take the pin. She only got one eye.
See, stop, bro. See, why?
You see the eyeshadow and the makeup right there? That's because she's trying to cover up the black eye. She's not gonna
Battleground is over, sir. Battleground is over.
She's going into the match like 15%. This is a sidebar, by the way. I didn't mention this with Bailey. I love that Bailey's going to elevate Piper, but Bailey needs Trish, and we'll probably unpack that another time.
Ooh, especially if we get an Evolution too.
Yeah, I could float with that. I could float.
But I hope Shayna taps out your turtle, Cedric. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. And then last but not least, we've got the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable.
Mankind's son loses his title, and it's time for Kurt Gable to finally arrive.
You know what, Councilman?
Wow.
That ain't Mick Foley Jr.
Wow. Wow.
You almost made me whack off my freaking.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever heard Sami Zayn hate before.
Bro, I'm just yo, he gotta change his character, bro. Like, I'm tired of seeing him doing this underdog stuff. You're not an underdog no more, bro. You are a legend to a lot of people.
He was a cowardly heel for like forever. And that's how he won his first title.
And that was so whack. That revolutionary, whatever he was doing, that was so bad. No, turn into the Canadian Destroyer. I want some grit.
He's the oop too.
See,
he apparently is tired of Sammy as well. Good to see you, Marie.
Oops, bro. The honorary
wow. I get that.
And you know what that reminded me of? You know what that reminded me of? Rock and Sock Connection.
Good Lord.
Wow. Am I wrong? That's just what honorary Oos was. Rock and Sock Connection.
Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying, but there's no reason to hate on Sammy though.
I just want Sammy to do better, man. Bring me something new. I want to see you shine in the ring, not see like you got beat up and then it's like, yo, out of nowhere, I seized the opportunity. I did it. No, man, show these people you can go. Stop being the underdog all the time. Be people that be someone that people fear to step in the ring.
He hasn't been Rocky the whole time.
He's been Rocky the whole time.
I guess there's we have different lenses. We see things differently, y'all.
We do. Honey, who's walking out of here as the Intercontinental Champion?
Yeah, it's gonna be Sammy. It's gonna be Sammy. It's gonna be Sammy Uso. So sorry, Councilman. I apologize. We are on the opposite side of the fence on this one, only because. Shout outs to the balloons. Only because I definitely see a certain Alpha Academy and a certain big man Otis yeeting the hell out of Chad Gable. Finally, I think this is where Otis takes that first hit or gives Gable that first hit, and we get a huge pop from the fans. And I think the distraction of, Alpha Academy betraying him is what ultimately gets Sammy to retain.
I will revoke Otis's big back card if he does that. You are no longer invited to the barbecues. Otis, you bet not do that tomorrow. You better respect your mentor and your teacher. He tell you to jump, you jump. This is the Perk Gable era now.
Oh my gosh. Seth, did you give your thoughts on who's winning this one?
Not yet, but I mean, something's got to give here. We dethroned the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion already. A lot of people felt like that should have been Chad with all the buildup they had there and all the great matches he put on with Gunther originally. Something's got to give. And if you're going to keep Chad in this space, and I'm pretty sure he just re-upped his agreement as well with the WWE, you got to pay it off at some point. They could keep running it back, but you got to eventually make it seem like these matches mean something. Otherwise, we're going to keep, like Councilman said, like Sammy can't just be this invincible being. So I feel like Alpha Academy will be involved in some way and get tired of being scolded. But I think Chad will have something up his sleeve, who has been teasing this whole stuff. with the creeds, either online and in the shadows as well. Something's got to give. I think this will be the one title that will, with certainty, change hands at Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Chad is going to leave with this title. I feel like this is
this is the only title that changes hands.
No,
in my eyes.
Oh, no,
I think it's the guaranteed title to change hands, but I also think the World Heavyweight Championship is changing hands here. Drew McIntyre.
I'm staying on the fence about that one. That is what I'm definitely unsure of. A lot of variables, but y'all not wrong, and Professor's also not wrong. So much could go in this match, but Cedric was right. It's gonna be one that we're just gonna be like,
yeah, it's gonna be wild. All right, we're gonna quickly run through because this is actually gonna kick off in just a few minutes, and that is Against All Odds from TNA, which is happening right at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when the kickoff begins. Congratulations. It's a sold-out show. And anytime you have a sold-out show, that is a win. I think it speaks very highly to where TNA is at this point. So I am super pumped for this. So the pre-show for Against All Odds, which you can watch on their YouTube channel or on TNA Plus. We'll see Sami Callihan taking on Jonathan Gresham, and this version of Jonathan Gresham is a problem, an absolute problem. And then also we will see a tag team title match as Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich defend the Knockouts World Tag Team titles against the Hex. So that will be in the countdown show starting at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we'll get into it. The main event is slated to be for the TNA World Championship. Moose will defend against Matt Hardy. And there was a visit last night to the Hardy compound by the system. And you can check out our post show to see how that went. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. But everybody's talking about this. And I want to get your comments and thoughts. Who is going to answer the open challenge from Jordynne Grace? When she was on TNA last night, she didn't just allude to the fact. She named a ton of organizations that she doesn't mind walking through the door, whether it's WWE, MLW, New Japan, NWA, CMM. She went through the whole list. The only one she didn't mention was AEW. So who do you think walks through that door tonight to answer the open challenge for Jordynne Grace's Knockout Championship?
It's obvious. It's Tatum Paxley.
You said it's
y'all are gonna hate me for my answer. But
Right.
y'all go first.
With Tatum snatching the title on Sunday, having her eyes on it the past few weeks, I think she's the first one to run towards that open challenge.
Okay. Councilman.
I'm selecting your girl, Lola Vice.
Okay.
Now we want Jordynne to retain. Now we can't do that. We can't do that to Jordynne. Just got her whole earlobe ripped off. She don't need no missing teeth too.
We want her to retain.
That's hilarious.
Oh, this is so good to me. This is good to me. Good to me.
Like I said, I love it here.
Tatum Paxley, Lola Vice. Honey, who do you think is walking through there?
My serious answer is Ash by Elegance.
Okay.
Only because of what made sense and what happened on at Battleground with her showing up and Tatum Paxley having a little yank fest. Was Tatum Paxley there? Yeah.
Yes,
was that her?
Paxley.
Yes, they were having a little yank fest with the belt. But my funny answer, Ariana Grace.
Hey, well, I know you joking.
I would enjoy that.
I can see that.
But because considering that slight little interaction, being that they both have the same last name, but they're not really related, which I loved, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know. Why not? Why not?
I can see that.
I don't ask why anymore. I ask why not.
Yeah. That ain't even silly. That's
not silly. That's genius if they did that.
It really is genius.
Yeah.
It really is genius.
I think I'm on to something.
Jeffrey probably got the best pick. We didn't even think about that. Natalia.
Oh, you don't want to
Answers
tell
to call.
said that, not cloud chasing Natty, as he likes to say. You see, look, the hands went up. The hands went up. The hands
Just go
went up.
home. Go home. Just
It's going to be interesting for sure. Again, we don't have to wait long to find that out. The Against All Odds countdown is on YouTube starting in just a couple of minutes. And then the full show airs live from Chicago on TNA Plus. So you can check that out. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Definitely check that out. It feels like the streets are going to be talking about Against All Odds from TNA tonight. So yeah, it's going to be a very full. Oh, and I forgot, there are other matches happening that I do want to mention just briefly. Mustafa Ali will defend the X Division Championship tonight against Trent Seven. That ought to be a banger for sure. The TNA World Tag titles are on the line. The System defends against Nick and Ryan Nemeth. This is only their second tag match together, which is very interesting, even though they have been brothers. So fantastic there. Mike Santana and Steve Macklin are taking on the Rascals tonight. That ought to be a great tag match. And then this is so interesting to me. Frankie Kazarian is taking on Joe Hendry, and we found out last night that in Joe Hendry's corner will be Ace Steel. We know the history of Ace Steel, and what that could do for Joe Hendry would be very, very interesting. So all that's going down tonight. We want to shout out, of course, our new sponsor, All Caribbean Wrestling, who will be bringing forward Baja Bash coming up in a little less than 2 weeks, June the 29th, Nassau, Bahamas. It's going to be amazing. Mark Henry, of course, will be part of that. Some amazing people, including Kenny King, Maserati, Patrick Clark will be there, along with Elijah Burke, Lindsay Dorado, Cassandra Golden, Kalia Capri, and many more. It's going to be incredible. Baja Bash. Meet us in the Bahamas. It should be fantastic. Again, you can get more information at allcaribbeanwrestling.com or follow them on their social media channels. So then, speaking of social media channels, let's find out how we can reach out to all of the good people. Councilman, how can people find you?
You don't have to support that. Just make sure that y'all go buy y'all tickets to the Big Back Festival coming in fall in September. We have a lot of people that are going to be special guests. The lady from Touched by an Angel is going to be there via Zoom. Della Reese is, we don't ask us how we got the connections, but we got it. Who else?
I don't think she's still on the earth anymore.
That's why we said it's through Zoom. So don't ask how we got it set up. Shout out Uncle Howdy though. And we have a ton of other panelists that we're gonna be having on there. Jackie from Sister will be showing up, as well as the Fat Boys will be reuniting for a performance. And Gucci Mane has said he's gonna put his weight back on so he can attend. It's gonna be a great festival. I'm really excited. So get your tickets at thebigbackfest.com.
What is happening right now? Oh my gosh. Said? Oh Lord.
I don't know how to follow that, but let me answer Jeffrey's question. Jeffrey, just make sure Jakara doesn't assault my client with her face. Her face shouldn't be around my client's feet. Like, just tell Jakara to get out of the way. But you can find me on these Twitter streets at says that's CEDD_SAY. It's a beautiful week for the mayor. Go check me out on IG at Said is the Answer. Me and the Laredo family. I'm now officially going to change my last name to Vice. So
Cedric Vice.
You'll have to refer to me as that as well. You'll see me on this platform weekly, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I write for multiple platforms, including dailyddt.com, and do journalism stuff as well. That's all I got to promote right now.
Oh my
wow. Shout out to Marie Shadows. It's good to see you. We've missed you. Good to have you around for sure.
And Marie, I did not pay for that knockout. It was a clean hit. I saw your comment.
Honey, we will, let people know how they can find you. Again, you guys can find Honey if you hang out here at the top of the hour. She's got the SmackDown watch along, so we'll all be checking out SmackDown together. How can they find you, Honey?
They can find me here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. God willing, if I'm not dying of laughter from these two clowns down here.
I'm telling you.
I can't take it, man. TikTok Wrestling with Honey, Instagram Wrestling with Honey, Facebook Wrestling W Honey, and the YouTube page Wrestling with Honey Podcast. And stick around. SmackDown is coming. Apparently, SmackDown already happened, but for some of us, it didn't. So please, no spoilers for those of you ahead of time. We'll see you at 8:00.
And we're gonna make it work, Dylan. We're gonna get in contact with her people.
For those listening, Dylan says that Jack A. Harry from Sister Sister is currently on Days of Our Lives. She's a little busy. Go figure. You guys could find me at Bonnerfied across all the socials. Commentary work with Southern Honor and IWE is on IWTV. We just dropped a new show from Southern Honor this week, so you guys can go check that out. Also, you can check out my work with the Nightmare Factory on their YouTube channel, with Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling on their YouTube channel, as well as All Caribbean Wrestling on their YouTube channel as well. Lots of great matches, lots of great moments. 2 big shows coming up with All Caribbean Wrestling. Baja Bash, June the 29th, and then Jam Slam in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. And I'm going to give you guys a scoop. One of the sponsors for Jam Slam is the actual nation of Jamaica. This is not a game. It's not a game. Y'all are going to see it. It's not a game. So you'll want to be there for that. It's going to be incredible. That's July 6th. But before all of that, June the 22nd, I will be with Ashe Wrestling. That's next Saturday for a huge card. Shelton Benjamin, Jonathan Gresham, just an insane card in Charlotte, North Carolina. So hope you guys will check us out. You can check out all things connected to Women's Wrestling Talk at WWTalkpod on the socials, wwtalkpod.com. Great conversation there with Kalia Capri, former star of NXT, current star in WOW, and in All Caribbean Wrestling. She'll be a part of Baja Bash. So definitely check out the interview. Fun things and lots of other fun things happening. Remember, coming up in just a few minutes, we've got the SmackDown Watch Along with Honey right here on this channel. So don't miss it. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Dylan and Jeffrey and Marie and Boza and Curvin and Jeffrey and Special Little Nobodies and Eric. And I feel like I'm missing people, but there are all sorts of great people hanging out with us. And those who weren't in the chat, but you've been hanging with us as well, we absolutely appreciate you all. We will back. Well, no, there's actually tomorrow a post show as well for Clash at the Castle. So I believe the councilman will be part of that. So all kinds of really cool things happening here at Women's Wrestling Talk, because we are the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Peace.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkPod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at wwtalkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling